Excellencies, my dear colleagues from ASEAN countries, EKC, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank EKC and MOFA Korea for organizing this event and inviting me to here. Now, I would like to present about the regulatory upgrade in ICT and telecom sector in our country. I will explain you about the sector with these four main contents: brief of the Myanmar current status of the telecommunication infrastructure and services, universal service in Myanmar, and conclusion. Sorry. Before I go to about telecom, I would like to explain about Myanmar briefly. Myanmar has a land area about 676,000 square kilometers with a population of 55.8 million today. Population density is around 83 population per kilometer square. Our land feature is mostly hills and valleys. According to the surveys from the relevant organizations, Myanmar's GDP is 75.8 billion USD by the end of 2021. Our neighboring country is to the west, Bangladesh, India, to the north and east, China, Laos, and to the southeast, Thailand. I will explain about this slide in detail in the next slide. And now I will highlight about these contents. And our telecom sector is mainly related with these contents. In our telecommunication sector, the following laws and rules are mainly governing the sector. The Computer Science and Development Law in 1996. This law mainly intended for the computer users in our country. Electronic Transaction Law 2004. This is mainly intended for the e-commerce and certification authority, CA service providers. Telecommunication Law 2030. Before 2030, we had laws such as the 1885 Telegraph Law and 1934 Wireless Telegraphy Law about the telecom, but they are inconsistent to introduce modern telecommunication technology and services. So our government promulgated new telecommunication law in 2030 in order to liberalize our telecommunication sector. After announcing the new telecommunication law, and in order to implement the law, we issued five related rules, namely licensing rules, interconnection rules, competition rules, numbering rules, and spectrum rules. According to the Section 86 of the Telecommunication Law, we have to form Myanmar Communication Commission. So the law is preparing and now in drafting stage. In near future, we also have planned to liberalize our postal sector. So we are drafting the postal service law also. According to our new telecommunication law and licensing rules, we issued four types of telecommunication service license, namely Network Facility Service Individual License, Network Facility Service Cross License, Network Service License, and Application Service License. Network Facility Service Individual License can do satellite station facilities, international gateway service facilities, resale wireline connectivity services, international domestic network transport and switching services, etc. Network Facility Cross License can do tower and mast for erection, and digging dust and trenches, and installation of fiber cable and some other radio equipment. A network service license, it can do the resale wireline connectivity services international and domestic network transport and switching services, FTTH services, etc. Application service holder, license holder can do the internet service provider services and some value-added services, etc. But all other, 4 operators, we have 4 operators, 4 mobile operators. These operators can do all telecommunication services, including mobile telecommunication services in our country. So before 2030, we have only 1 operator, and nowadays we have 234 licenses in total. These are key infrastructure companies in Myanmar, among 234 licenses, and totally companies, 70 companies in our country. We are currently connected with 3 submarine cables, namely CME 3, CME 5, and AAE1, and also have many cross-border fiber cable connections with the 4 neighboring countries, namely India, China, Laos, and Thailand. This slide shows our national backbone fiber cable routes and their related companies. We have permitted those companies to construct nearly 82,000 kilometers fiber cable lengths. Among them, around 67,000 kilometers are finished construction, and currently they are in use. Here I would like to highlight some section about in the telecom law. According to our telecommunication law, Section 8, Myanmar has permitted, foreign companies as joint venture or 100% participation in our telecommunication service provisioning. This slide shows fiber length in kilometer in grad. This is the same with the previous slide. This slide shows number of communication towers and their construction companies. These are physical towers, and not including TNET sites. This slide shows the comparison of our telecommunications indicators before liberalization of our telecommunications sector in 2013, and after liberalization, the sector as of today. So you can see before 2013, we have only 1 government operator, MPT. At that time, telecommunication density is about 30%, including fixed line. Internet users are also less than 2 million. National fiber backbone route is only 7,600 kilometers. International cable also has only CME 3. At that time, we have cross-border with China and Thailand. International bandwidth use is 30 gigabits per second, only 30 gigabits per second in 2030, and only 1 international gateway. Mobile communication tower sites are also less than 3,000. Nowadays, we have 4 mobile communication operators. Penetration, tele-density penetration is over 100,000. Internet users also dramatically, increased and around 96,000, 96% of our population. We have, interconnection, international submarine cable, CME 3, CME 5, AAE1, as explained in earlier slides. We also cross-border country with China, Thailand, India, and Laos. Nowadays, our international bandwidth capacity use is, 4,300 gigabit per second. Now we have already permitted licenses for the international gateway, 90 licenses for the international gateway services. Nowadays, we have more than 26,000 sites more. Mobile communication coverage is now 96% in population and nearly 59% geographically. Most of the mobile coverage are 4G coverage. I also would like to explain current policy and situation about the fiber optic cable network development in our country. Our Post and Telecommunication Department, PDD, approved infrastructure companies for the fiber deployment to develop the country's telecommunication infrastructure in accordance with the relevant laws and rules. We encourage all the infra companies to share infrastructure to be smart and reducing the initial investment costs. We realize that by creating the good policy for competition in the market to all available licenses and companies is leading to get the affordable prices and better choice the preferred ones by the citizens. In doing so, it needs to negotiate with the relevant government organizations to get right-of-way approval to deploy the fiber optic cable smoothly throughout our country. These are the needs for more ICT telecommunication infrastructure development in the government, private sector, universities, and R&D institutions. In order to do so smoothly, we have to do the following. We need to amend outdated and inconsistent laws and legal framework. We realize that to establish the independent regulatory body, we need to invite and attract more foreign direct investment. According to the new telecommunication law, joint venture or 100% foreign participation is allowed in telecom service proportioning. We need to encourage all available organizations to fulfill the skill gap and lining mismatches in ICT and telecommunication sector. We need to work on the stable policies and the suitable regulatory environment. Besides, I also would like to introduce about the universal services in Myanmar. According to the Section 53 and 54 of Telecommunication Law, we must do to fulfill basic telecommunication services in underserved areas like remote and rural areas. In order to implement the universal services, the Universal Service by USF rule was announced in August 2018, and the Universal Service Strategy was in place in January 2020. Universal Service by USF is levied from the 4 operators starting from license year 4, which equal to 2% of their relevant revenue. There are 3 main programs for universal service stated in the Universal Service Strategy. Program number 1, infrastructure deployment for voice and broadband services in rural and remote areas. Program number 2, to implement broadband connectivity and ICT training enabling the digital future of Myanmar. Program number 3, it is to implement special projects including condensed applications and disabled people, etc. From my presentation, I would like to conclude that we are requiring an action to amend the outdated legal framework and guidelines for more development of ICT and telecommunication sector. We need to reduce the gap of using ICT by encouraging promotion of digital education. We also need to negotiate with the relevant government organization to decrease the substantially barriers, such as taking many recommendations approvals to build and deploy infrastructure such as mobile telecommunication towers and fiber cables, etc. We will also need to adopt the suitable policies that will unify the e-government system and cybersecurity law, etc. That is my presentation. Thank you very much all.